Welcome back to Man vs Film. Previously, I talked through numbers 20 to 11 in my top 20 movies of 2019, and here we have it, my 10 favourite movies which I have had a hell of a time trying to nail down their positions. In fact, I'm still changing them about as I'm making this video. There's some real crackers here, some wonderful, wonderful movies. Let's just dive into it. Number 10 was my favourite movie from Fright Fest, and that was Death of a Vlogger. Now, this was an extremely low budget movie that was done with such creativity. It has stuck with me. It was hilarious, it was scary, it was emotional, it stuck with me, and it was a terrific film. I'm really hoping it's going to get a major release this year, and if it does, I will be championing it on the channel. And it's all about someone who becomes an internet sensation due to a little bit of supernatural that changes into more and more stranger things as the movie goes on. I don't want to waste a lot of it, but it was constantly reinventing itself, constantly being culturally important at the time that it's made, and because of the subject matter regarding social media, fame, the rise and fall, the negative attitude of online people. I think it's all encompassed in this movie that is highly entertaining and has something genuinely terrifying to say about society today. Number 9, and it surprised me that this wasn't higher because it's a pretty great movie, and that is Avengers Endgame. Now, it's the end, the culmination of a grandiose amount of movies, and it does it fantastically well. Turned into a time-travelling movie that I just didn't know was coming, didn't know that I wanted, and just loved. Had some sad, emotional endings for some of our characters, and left me pretty fulfilled with the MCU. Terrifically well done, great special effects, great ending. What more can you say? Number 8 is Rian Johnson's Knives Out. I love this guy. I think he's done amazing movies ever since Brick, which is one of my favourite movies of all time. Knives Out goes back to that mystery setting, and it feels very much as if it's set within an Agatha Christie world. We have these characters, all who are delicious and fun to spend time with. They're all unique. They're all, for the majority of them, pretty horrible people. We get this almost Inspector Clouseau type lead character of Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, and we get Ana de Armas in a lead role, which I didn't know it was going to be a lead role. And you have a mystery that is resolved fairly early on. And from then on, it's more about living with the characters and where it's going to get to. There's twists and turns, you can see a little bit coming, but I don't think that's the point of the movie. It's more about these people, and that's what's going to bring me back to this again and again. The conversations, the interactions, the amazing actors doing amazing work in this amazing movie. Number 7 is Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. You have these two men who go to a lighthouse in the 1890s to man it for 4 weeks. As they slowly antagonise each other, we have one that's in charge, Dafoe, and one that's just learning the job, which is Patterson, and they just don't get on really. Dafoe is constantly niggling at him. Patterson just can't get away from a haunted past, and when a storm hits the island and they find themselves stranded there and running quickly out of alcohol, things come to a head as these two guys start to implode, start to get a little bit insane within these confines, and things become rather twisted, hallucinogenic, and just incredibly captivating. Some of the most stunning photography I've seen in a really strange format, and a wonderful performance from the two lead characters. Terrific movie. Number 6 is John Wick 3. My favourite of the trilogy so far. It is just ridiculous action set pieces that are wonderful to be involved with. You see John on this continuous journey. It starts adding more and more to the whole world building that it has already. It's just tremendous action, really well choreographed, high energy, high octane, and an extreme thrill ride. I saw this a couple of times in theatre, and both times the crowd were just laughing their heads off with some of the ridiculousness of the action, and really just feeling it. You could feel the energy coming from the crowd, and I've watched it again at home, and it is truly a remarkably fun movie. Number 5, and one that I've had a lot of time to think about, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's latest movie. Now, I don't think it's perfect. There's a lot of things that I just don't gel with, most of it to do with the Sharon Tate character. but everything to do with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, I feel, is a wonderful addition to this movie. And these two guys, I could just watch them constantly. The world built, the characters round about these guys, they were amazing to spend their time with. Watching DiCaprio as somebody who's slowly realising that he's a little bit antiquated for this current generation. He's not the typical leading man. His career is on a downward spiral and he's really struggling to deal with that. It is so fascinating to watch, along with Brad Pitt's effortlessly cool guy who's just floating through the world, not a care in the world, and it's just wonderful. And that climax is amazing. Number 4 is a movie that completely broke me, and that is Midsummer. I know this is a polarising film. Some people hate it. I myself absolutely love it. From the captivating photography to that constant blue daylight that just soaks this movie, to the strangeness, to the heartbreak at the start of it. The way this movie deals with an emotional breakup of a relationship is just fantastic. It isn't fully horror, but it really does dance around a lot of the tropes of that. This 2.5-hour runtime was just amazing. It zipped by. It was a wonderful idea going into this community and seeing their ritual that they're going to perform, but living with the characters, and the main character and the complete turmoil that she's going through in all of this was wonderful. The movie looks great, the performances are great, but this is something that deeply affected me and has stuck with me since I saw it. The next 3 films are all kind of level and apart from me. It was really hard for me to separate them because I loved them all for different reasons. But the reason I chose the order that they're in is because if I was going to watch them again, this is the order I'd like to see them in, kind of. So at number 3 for me is Joker. A movie that I did not expect to be as affecting as it was. I really think that Todd Phillips has escalated and elevated his abilities with his writing and his directing here. It feels layered and nuanced. It builds the character of the Joker up fantastically well. We get a fantastic performance for Joaquin Phoenix as this character who is maligned by society, misunderstood, and turns to a psychopathic means at the end of the movie. Or does he, depending on how you read it. Personally, I read it all as something that's in his mind, but I think it's wonderfully delivered. You know, the shots, the way they are designed, the constant rising garbage round about the streets as he builds up his breakdown. I think there's a couple of bits that just I don't feel are necessary, but they don't detract from the movie at all. And I think this is as wonderful a movie as we could possibly have hoped for. Possibly the best DC movie yet, something that I think is going to stand the test of time and be looked back as an absolute classic. Number 2 on my list is Uncut James, Adam Sandler and the Safdie brothers follow-up to Good Time. I loved that movie. I thought Robert Pattinson was a breakout thanks to that performance, and I think Adam Sandler does the best work in his career in this movie as Howard. It's just so wonderful. He is a jewellery dealer, he is a gambling addict, he's a womanizer, he has all these plates spinning, and it's just following him for a couple of days, trying to maintain the speed in all of these as things slowly come crashing down round about him. And we get a charismatic character who is kind of rotten to the core. His choices aren't great, but you like him, you want him to succeed. This movie was so anxiety driven that I could have clawed the skin off my face watching it. I was loving it. I was with the character. I was tense as hell. I was worried for him. This put me through the gamut of emotions just watching this character. And my goodness, that performance is amazing. The direction is terrific. One of the things it really does well is busy scenes with lots of characters all talking over each other, and it feels naturalistic. It feels as if you're almost in a documentary watching these people evolve. And like I said, I don't think Adam Sandler has ever been better than what he is in this movie, and he gives an absolutely memorable, outstanding performance as Howard. If you haven't seen this one, this is one to add to the list, a must watch. And number 1 for me is a movie that was made in 2017 but wasn't released in the UK until 2019 in January. And this is a movie called Uncut of the Dead. And when I think back to all the movies I've watched, this was the most surprising thing that I saw this year. When you break the movie down, it's 3 parts. The first half hour is a kind of cheap and nasty, atypical zombie movie. I mean, when you're watching it, you're like, this is nothing special. Why the hell am I watching this? And then it reinvents itself for the second half and kind of ignites a lot of the creativity and shows what it was trying to do. And it gets better. And then by the time you get to the final third, you're on board for everything. It becomes the most joyous, exciting, amazing movie that I've ever seen. It's just a wonder. And I don't think I've found anybody that doesn't love this movie. It's pure and unadulterated joy. Watching this transform and repeat and become something else is just a wondrous transformation. The fact that it was made for such a low budget but it imbues such creativity and love for filmmaking that it's just on show was downright enthusiastic. It just buoyed me up watching this thing. And it's, like I said, it takes you through the motions. The first half hour is a bit of a slog. But it's a bit of a slog for a reason. It does things intentionally that would make you just stop the movie. But it reasons them later on. One Cut of the Dead is brilliant. You must check it out. There we have it, my top 10 movies for 2019. What's your favourites? Let me know in the comment box below. And I'll see you next time on Man v Film.